Hello, my name's John Keslick, and it's 12/30/2009, and I'm going to attempt to make a pruning video here. First one, and here's a prime example of what happens when a tree's planted and there's no attention given to pruning for framework. What you're going to see is this is a sugar maple, I believe, and I'd consider this a young tree. And what we need to do is take a look at what's here. Well, from a distance, or when there's leaves on the tree, hey, it's going to look like a nice round lollipop crown. When in reality, mechanically speaking, it's a disaster. Here we have a branch that's symplastless coming out of a V-crotch where the bark is rolled inward, self-wounding, and they're going co-dominant for the sunlight, and it's a predictable failure not so long down the road. Included bark. We have quite a few large lower branches in one area on the trunk. Branch collars are wonderfully able to support large cantilevers. And when you start piling those collars up all around the trunk, sometimes you end up with trunk failure. And here's looks up here like a crack, which actually this lower branch here, the bark is rolled inward and it's self-wounding, and the wound continues down the trunk. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if this tree was planted too deep. Most trees are. And some of these sunken cambiums, like you see up this tree, is often a result of root problems from being planted too deep. But this one also extends up to here, and this wound here. And again, it has a very large cantilever, which, if not addressed, is a predictable failure. So we're going to work on selectively removing a couple branches. The dose, it's a young maple tree. Maple trees, sugar maples, can have the parenchyma cells can live for 150 years if things go right. They're a sapwood tree. They do not form heartwood. They're a sapwood tree. And then if you go up a little further, we have another somewhat of a head on this tree where there's many self-wounding situations beginning to occur. And we'll have to address these as well. And higher, we have the same thing. And I believe if these trees are addressed, it would be a perfect world. If these trees are addressed while they're young, a great deal of these problems can be addressed, most definitely more appropriately than now, with smaller wounding and better sealing and closure of the wounds and things of that nature. Now, along this tree, these are just where the bark plates are dividing in one direction and not the other, and that's where you start to have your fissures. Like if you put wax on a balloon, there's bark plates that divide in two different directions. On a beech tree, the bark plates both divide in both directions, giving you a smooth outer bark. But when only bark plates divide in one direction, then you'll have fissures in the outer bark. So we're going to take some pictures to put in here, and we're going to remove some of these lower branches, always looking out for cracks and things of that nature, which is mechanical strain, non-reversible. Here's some cracking here, but this is a lot going on here. So we're going to do some serious pruning here. Now, this is for the advanced. If you have not read the book Worldwide Pruning Guide by Dr. Alex L. Shigo, then this video is just going to do more to confuse you than anything. And what we like to address is dose, timing, and targets. And here we're starting to have a Pinocchio nose starting to form, where you can see as the tree is growing, it's growing outward from this crotch. And the bigger this, what Klaus Matic calls a Pinocchio nose, the bigger, the more serious the crack is that's represented by that. So we'll see what we can do for this tree.